This is Bruce Pearl.
Sean Shire.
Sean Miller.
I love the Field of 68.
I listen to you guys every morning.
Are we still live?
UConn wasn't on my radar.
From the bluest of the blue bloods to the smallest of the mid-majors, the only way to keep up with college basketball is through the Field of 68.
All right, welcome in another episode of the Goodman and Hummel Podcast. I'm Jeff Goodman. He is Robbie Hummel, and we are almost at the start of the season, Rob. And you know what that means, right? You know what that means?
Golf season's over.
Pretty much, yes. That means it's over. It's over. You actually have to work, and you're going to get ready to actually be on the road doing real games instead of meaningless exhibitions, which is what you did the other day. You were at the Kansas-Illinois game in Champaign. Bill Self's return to Champaign, which was kind of cool. And obviously it was to raise money for charity. I feel bad because Andy Katz is back. He texted me the night of the game, and he said, like, my back's really hurting now. I know Andy's a little bit older, but he's in shape. But I said, listen, I can completely relate because I carry your ass all the time on this pod, and my back hurts. So it's about time he had to carry you.
I could always quit the pod. Like, that's the thing. I just want you to know this could stop at any time. I don't have to do this. I'm doing this for Talia.
You have a non-compete.
Because Talia needs tuition money. So I'm doing this for her. If it wasn't for her, I would quit this stupid podcast.
Read the small print, Rob. Read the small print that you signed.
I've never signed anything with Field of 68. I have no non-compete. I have nothing signed. Evan Turner has made me some really attractive offers. So we're going to have to think long and hard about that. Really? But yes, I was in Champaign on Sunday night. This is actually kind of funny. I've always wanted to fly to Champaign from Chicago.
How far is it?
All right, it's a 2-hour drive. I don't like driving though. So I was looking at I just happened to look at the flight schedules a couple weeks ago. I said, oh wow, there's a flight on Sunday night that gets me in, that leaves at 4. You land at like 4:30.
Where are you leaving out of?
O'Hare, which is 15 minutes from where I live. So that's where it actually is faster, right? Like, it would be faster.
No, it's not, because you have to wait at the gate.
I can get there 45 minutes before, and then I fly for.
Okay, so
I'm not checking. I'm not checking a bag.
All
right, I'm not checking a bag, so I can get there 30 minutes prior to departure. I fly for 20 minutes.
Not getting there half an hour before.
All right, 40 minutes. I can get there 40 minutes before. I have every TSA clear, whatever. So I was going to fly. So I'm going to fly and be there in 20 minutes. My dad, who played tennis at the University of Illinois, texts me and goes, when are you leaving for the game on Saturday? And I'm like, well, I'm leaving Sunday because the game is on Monday night. No, the game is on Sunday night. So I had booked a flight for the wrong night, which isn't that big of a deal because you get like a travel credit and it just goes to your next one.
How much is a flight? It
was like $350.
But from Chicago to Champaign?
Yeah, it was. But renting a car wouldn't be cheap, so it was within my.
You are such a prima donna now.
Hold on, so
I
ended up having to drive. So I drove. And luckily, my dad said that because I would have been really confused about when the game was. So tough start. Still trying to iron the
Cats would have had to go solo. Cats would have gone solo.
On the Andy would have been by himself. He would have been carrying the load.
He already carried the load.
He already did. Yes, he did. So I drove down and went to shoot arounds, which was good to get back in kind of the rhythm. But, with Kansas, it's really interesting. And I think with Johnny Furphy's injury, we don't see them whole. But Bill Self is only playing 10 scholarship guys. Zach Clements is going to redshirt by all accounts.
Right.
And the fit of Hunter Dickinson with their other 4 starters, I think, are a little bit of a concern. The floor is so compact with KJ Adams at the 4. He made a couple threes in Puerto Rico, but he shot 1 at Illinois. Boy, it didn't look good. That wasn't something he did last year. I think he was 0 for 3 last year. But then on top of that, DeJuan Harris was phenomenal for Kansas last year, but he had Grady Dick and he had Jalen Wilson and KJ Adams kind of like fit in with that personnel, kind of short rolling, spraying it from the small ball sort of five. And then Kevin McCullough, who, by the way, Kevin McCullough was major league. I mean, big good, time. Huh? Oh, yes. Yes. They talked about how he's really worked on his release. He made a couple threes. That would be huge for them. If McCullough can shoot it, I'm not even saying 40. If he can be like 34, 35, that would help immensely. Yeah, but he's a terrific cutter. He gets to the rim. He plays so hard. I'm sure it burned him that Terrence Shannon kind of got the better of him. Shannon went nuts. Shout out to Rob Doster, who was not high on him in the draft. I took Terrence with a higher pick than Rob thought he deserved, and he showed out in his first game of the season. That didn't matter.
Yes, it is an exhibition, Rob.
It is. But and then Hunter was just kind of average. You know, he didn't make shots that he has in his past. I thought Coleman Hawkins and Dane Deja did a nice job for the most part of making him score over them, and he missed most of those little hooks that they made him contest. Really, he scored buckets on short rolls, and he scored points when they kind of overfronted him, and he got layups. You know, so it's an exhibition game. By no means am I saying that Kansas needs to hit the panic button, but they have a lot of work to do. And I thought defensively they were poor. You know, just not understanding the scouting report. There was a play that really stood out, and Bill Self, it was pretty cool during the game that we got the access we did with Brad Underwood and Coach Self, because we got to kind of hear their point of view. And he said at one point that their defense was awful. So the play that I'm thinking of, though, is KJ Adams closing out super hard to Ty Rodgers, who was 0 from 3 last year. And literally Rodgers, what he wants to do is get to the basket. He just blows right by him, gets a layup. And I don't know how much Kansas, you know, they did their normal scout that they do. And I think Kansas does as good of a job as anyone at shoot around of, you know, they have this thing, I think they call it the classroom, where they all sit down and basically they quiz these guys on personnel. And then they go through plays, and, you know, they go through their walkthrough, and they were, you know, that's a simple personnel thing to know. Ty Rodgers does not want to shoot it from the perimeter. He wants to drive it to the basket. So I think Kansas has a lot to work on, and Furphy would help a bunch if he can make a shot and be adequate defensively.
He didn't play. Johnny Furphy, their freshman from Australia.
He's got shin splints, so he's out. Marco Jackson had a couple nice drives, but
can't shoot, right?
That would be the thing. Can he make a jumper? And then, I'm blanking.
How did Timberlake?
Timberlake just didn't shoot it well. I think he had a bucket. He came off a pin down, and he's got some like rise to him. At least if you watch him at Towson,
yep.
When people contest his shots on his pull up, or he can elevate and kind of shoot over guards. You know, that's what he did on that play. But for him to be a big piece, he's got a guard, because everyone's got a guard with Bill Self, and he's got to make open threes. That is going to be massive for his role. And that, you know, Parker Brown played a little bit but didn't play well. They're going to play like 8 dudes. So, and then on the Illinois side,
I would assume Clements comes out of his red shirt at some point this season.
Yeah, you know, the interesting thing about him is that he was supposed to be like their starting center last year, right, and then just was so disappointing. I don't know. I'm not sure what the deal. They've talked about it, and then Jamari McDowell got a little bit of time, but he not enough to really impact. From an Illinois standpoint, the Ty Rodgers point guard experience was good against.
What's that going to look like? What's that going to look like?
Well, the thing is, they have multiple ball handlers. Like Damas can bring it up, Rodgers can bring it up, Shannon can bring it up. I guess Sincere Harris, Dre Gibbs Lawhorn. So it's not like it's just going to be Ty Rodgers bring the ball up every time, right? Like they have other ball handlers.
At the game, but at the end of the game, Rob.
No, I agree. But I was worried against
where
Kansas.
I'm worried in close game.
No, I agree. Can he initiate offense and get them into things? I was worried a little bit for them from a Kansas perspective, because you've got McCullough and DeJuan Harris, who were both top 5 last year in the Big 12 in steals. Right. And I'm like, man, this could get interesting. Yeah. But
did they go after him?
No.
It's an exhibition.
Yeah, I didn't feel like they really did. So that was okay. Shannon was big time, and he's streaky as a shooter, and he was going. You know, he hit 4 or 5 threes in the first half. You know, he loves to get to his left hand, live downhill. He did all of those things. Damask wasn't nearly as effective as he was against Ottawa in their first game, which is the exhibitions that Doster wants us to all see. Coleman Hawkins, I thought, took good shots, shot open ones, moved it otherwise. That's good to see if you're an Illinois fan. Danger was okay. I thought their transfers, though, fit in really well with their returners. Like their core of Rogers, Goody, Coleman Hawkins, Dane Danger. And then you bring in Quincy Guerrier, who I didn't think played all that well at Oregon last year, and he actually gave great minutes.
He's solid.
He's had an interesting career, and we talked about this in the broadcast. At Syracuse, he was more of like an offensive rebounder. At Oregon, he was more of like a stretch perimeter player. He shot a bunch of threes. Yep. He made a three, and then he got to the basket and drew fouls, got to the offensive glass. Justin Harmon was in there late for them, which I think speaks volumes that Brad Underwood's got him in the game. And then Damask was, he fits in with what they want to do. He can post, he can play pick and roll, he can shoot it. So I think I came away. It's an exhibition game. I was probably more impressed with Illinois than I thought I would be, and I was a little underwhelmed by what Kansas was, I think would be my takeaway.
All right. So again, I know you're talking about their defense. To me, that's the least of my concerns with Kansas at the end of the day, because
they'll do that. They'll
that's do what I'm
that.
saying. Like
I
got
think
DeJuan Harris.
My concern is DeJuan Harris. Will he look to score? Because it just looks like at times like he doesn't want to. He shot 40 from 3 last year, but on super low volume. And then do they have enough shooting around Hunter to make this thing work?
Well, I mean, again, you had, like you said, you had Grady Dick last year and Wilson. So you had an elite shooter and an elite scorer. Now, who do you have that you're going to give the ball to and say, go make a play? Well, it's like Hunter, but again, Hunter can't create for himself.
Yeah. Well, so you can double team a big, unless you duck him into the middle of the floor, the double team can come. And I'm sure with the personnel that Kansas will have out there, until they make them prove it, that they can make them pay for it, the double's going to come. They're going to double team Hunter Dickinson.
I don't love the construction of this team unless Johnny Furphy is much better than even Kansas thought he'd be. I think he's the X factor for this team. Completely.
No, I would agree. And I read something where some NBA scouts, because he played in those NBA academy games, said that he was the equivalent of like a top 50 player. That's
not enough.
Some top 50 guys impact
as a freshman
in big
I'm not
time
sure
ways.
That's enough right now. I don't know. He's got to be better than that, Rob. He's got to be a top 25. And again, he's just got to do. But that's not true.
Like, Evan Turner was ranked 51st in our class.
Right.
Well, if he was Evan Turner as a freshman, he would be fine.
Fine. But again, here's the thing. You need him to do one thing really well, and that's shoot the ball. But he's also got to be able to make plays off the bounce, which I think he can do a little bit.
I do too. And I think when you can make threes from the perimeter, that makes it a hell of a lot easier to make plays off the bounce with the way they're closing out to you. That changes everything.
Yep. True. Again, it's just the floor spacing of this team does worry me. It does worry me.
I'm with you on that.
Because again, Timberlake, he did it last year at Towson, but
I
don't know again.
Career 38%. I feel like he's streaky though.
Not a great defender.
Said that?
Not a great defender.
Have you said that he's a streaky shooter?
Yeah, I saw him. I've seen him play a couple times in person, and he is. I mean, again, when he's got it going, the thing I like about him is he's got swagger, but I don't know if that continues at Kansas. Like, it's a different deal when you're
moving up a different level, and defensively, if you're not a good defender at Towson, and now you're in the Big 12 where there are beasts everywhere, that could be humbling for sure. That's going to be fascinating to watch how he progresses here, I would say.
Both these teams have their issues. Again, I don't think we thought about Kansas's quite as much as we do now, seeing them. And again, seeing them without Furphy is a little bit different, but their biggest question mark to me is clearly perimeter shooting and playmakers off the bounce, scorers, where for Illinois, it's clear, right? It's point guard play. And I know you're saying they can do it by committee.
No, I just think
that never works, Rob. At the highest level, that never works to me.
Yeah, I look at their roster and it's like, and I know what you're saying. You're saying end of the game, but Rogers can bring it up. Shannon can bring it up. Goody probably could, but if you start pressuring, he'd give it up.
You don't want Luke Goody bringing it up.
Damas can.
That'd be like you bringing it up.
He used to bring it up all the time. Coleman Hawkins can do it as well. He could bring the ball.
He can. He has. But again, I want a dude that I can trust to bring it up, get him in offense
against the point guard that's going to dog
better
you.
up.
Yeah,
and make people better. And also, hey, when they sag off me, I got to be able to make a shot.
But
we don't know if
that's going to be
Rogers
the thing too. Teams are going to go under on Ty Rogers to the charge arc.
Yes.
Like that. That's what they're going to do.
They're going to Rondo him. They're going to. He on the scouting report. What's it going to say? Rondo.
Yeah, right. They're going to go under and under and under and under, and they're going to make him. They'll double off him and they'll sag off him. And the thing was, it was funny because Illinois was doing that to KJ Adams. Kansas was trying to run that old school high low that they ran with the Morris twins and Withy and Thomas Robinson and every good big that Kansas has had, and they would just literally have a second defender parked on Hunter.
So your boy Rob Doster was raving about these exhibition games, the one you did, and obviously Purdue.
He wants to watch Illinois Ottawa.
I don't know
50-point game.
Is that? I don't understand what he's trying to say. Try to clarify for me what Doster's saying.
He's saying he wants better games to start the season, which we all want. And I think
I just asked Dan Gavitt about this. I just literally I asked Dan Gavitt. I said, "Who is to blame for this? Because can you guys get involved at all?" And he said, "Well, it's up to the coaches, the administrators, the ADs, obviously the broadcast partners as well. There's nothing the NCAA can really do other than." The only other thing they could do, and I don't think they do it, but is incentivize the NCAA tournament committee, incentivize these teams to play good games that first week for the good of the game.
That would probably further screw the mid-majors and the low majors because you're just giving the high majors an advantage. But it would be better for the sport. There was an article that came out today about how college basketball is like a dying sport. And this is one of the problems that the sport has. Doster's issue is that he wants games like this to count.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is they're going to play exhibition games, right? Like, should the Chicago Bulls start playing the local high school team because the NBA one should count? That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. If we can get better games, even if they don't count, we should totally do them.
Sure.
Totally do them. And you know what? And then we should have on opening night 4 awesome teams playing against each other, or 10 awesome teams playing like that. That would help the sport. And I understand the coaches are looking at like, we haven't played a real game and you want me to go out there and play against the top 15 team. But, I've watched more.
Well, this game,
Rob, exhibition games, and the charity aspect too.
What you're saying is because Kansas just played Illinois, Illinois would be more apt now to play somebody good that first week.
They've seen it.
Correct.
They have seen a real crowd. They have seen a real team.
Right.
They played Ottawa their first game and won by 50 points. They shot 43s. You think that's an accurate look at what Illinois wants to do this year?
No, it's worthless. Those are kind of worthless other than getting your freshmen, honestly, a look.
Or look at Purdue. Purdue plays Grace College tonight. They played at Arkansas in front of 20,000 people. And
so what are you getting out of that?
No one else can bring pressure the way that Arkansas can bring it, save for 2 or 3 teams with their length and athleticism.
So what do you do? All right, let's give you the floor. If you're running the NCAA, what are you doing to change all this? Like, are you? Here's what I would probably say: the easy solution, Rob.
I'd say add an exhibition game.
Correct. Add 2. Even add 2. Yeah. Add 2 more. And you could do
you could secret scrimmage or whatever. But
you could do 2 secret scrimmages and 2 exhibitions. So you're adding 2 more weeks to it, so that those coaches are more comfortable playing good games that first week.
And you could do 2 charity games. Like, what's wrong with that?
Nothing.
You could do a second game that benefits Maui.
Yep.
And Illinois was to bring in Kentucky. Like, why not?
So basically, you're doing one charity game, 1 charity exhibition, 1 regular exhibition, 2 scrimmages. You can do 4 total. Right?
Yeah, no, and then I think they'd be more inclined to feel like they know where they're at.
Yeah.
And now you might get better games. But Doster just saying, well, let's throw away these charity exhibitions because they don't count. Well, that's the point. Yeah. They want to see them against good people and not have it count. That's the point of this.
I think it was Frank Martin who told me this last year that they should have more exhibitions. They should have more, more.
What does it hurt? I guess your travel budget a little.
No, because you just play local. If you want, even the mids can play each other local. You're just going down the road a couple hours.
Or like if Purdue played Kentucky or Notre Dame played Michigan State, or like those are still good. If you have
the money, you can play somebody further away. If you don't, you find somebody you can drive to.
Yeah, no, agreed.
And then if you're Hawaii, you're screwed.
You play Chaminade.
Who do you play?
Chaminade.
Oh, yeah, still not so easy.
Or you convince an LA team to fly down and play there.
Right. Agreed. No, it can happen. All right. So the other big news in the last week, Rob, involves a tournament that you and I really don't care about overly much. We don't. I mean,
I enjoy doing the NIT games. I'd speak for yourself.
I haven't been in forever, but the NIT, there's some changes to it. And the NCAA basically, Dan Gavitt, we just got off a call with Dan Gavitt, and he said the changes were made for reasons to keep the NIT alive and viable financially. And what they're doing is they're getting rid of the automatic bids for regular season champions. So basically what they're saying is, we're going to just try
that don't win their conference tournament. Yes.
Correct. Because they're going to command more in a tournament because the ratings are going to be better. They're going to fill the stands. The problem, Rob, here's the problem. So Fox is trying to do something. Fox is trying to put together a postseason event in Vegas, 16 teams, all high majors for the most part. So this was sort of in retaliation to that to some degree here. Also, again, to keep this thing going. And it pissed off a lot of people because really this was a decision made by Dan Gavitt and two other people, I think employed by the NCAA on a board. And they really didn't discuss it. Dan said they talked to some commissioners since June, but a lot of people were completely blindsided by this, whether it was coaches, commissioners, ADs, whoever. A lot of people were shocked by this. And again, here's my problem. And I asked Gavitt this. I said, you're for the student athlete, but you're hurting the student athletes that actually give a shit about playing in the NIT, which is those automatic qualifiers of the mid and low major teams. Because let's face it, Rob, if you played in the NIT when you were at Purdue, how are you approaching that? How are you approaching it?
It would have been crushing.
Honestly. Right. You didn't want to be there. And Paint didn't want to be there. And almost every high major team, other than obviously like if DePaul makes it to the NIT, they're going to be excited to be there because they haven't been in the postseason.
Like Nebraska last year.
Right. There's a few. But for the most part, this is for those guys that won their regular season title, that might have gone 18-0 in their league, and then they had one bad night in the conference tournament, and their net isn't high enough because now the new deal, Rob, is they're taking, I think it's like, I don't know, the teams in the net. Well, their automatic bids are going to the two teams in each of the six high major leagues or something. Whatever it is, it's cutting the little guys out.
Yeah. And think about, I think it was when I was in college. Kentucky went to the NIT and they had to play at Robert Morris, and the atmosphere was like bonkers,
awesome.
like just unbelievable. They walked into a snake pit because Rupp was being used for the NCAA tournament. That's the NIT venues that matter. But I do see the TV ratings of this. Robert Morris is not going to bring a alumni base that will rate that well, but it still sucks. I mean, I get it, but I think it sucks. These days, every new potential hire can feel like a high-stakes wager for your small business. You want to be 100% certain that you have access to the best qualified candidates available. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the right people for your team faster and for free. Then add your job and the purple hashtag hiring frame to your LinkedIn profile to spread the word that you're hiring. Simple tools like screening questions make it easy to focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience so you can quickly prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/good. That's linkedin.com/GOOD to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply.
He said they might look at it again. So the TV contract's up after this year of the NIT. And again, it's he said also, Gavin, that this isn't basically just because they're doing this doesn't mean that they're going to do this for the NCAA tournament. This isn't a precursor to the NCAA tournament going in this direction or expansion or anything like that.
I heard an actually good expansion thing the other day about the NCAA tournament. I've been very anti.
Yeah.
But if they did this, I would be for it. They expand to, what would it be, 70? What are we at now, 68?
Yeah.
You expand to 72.
Yep.
And just make Tuesday games all day, Wednesday games all day, and then it's normal.
So plans.
Yes.
Right. I've said this,
So
plans with highs against mids.
That would be fine.
Right.
If they did that and they expanded with just added those games,
right.
Cool.
I'm fine with that. I'm fine.
It would basically
I don't
just
love it, but I'm fine with it.
No, but it would make Tuesday and Wednesday feel like Thursday and Friday. Not the volume of games, but you would have games all day long, which would be sick.
Agreed. No, I'm with you. I'm fine with that. And I think again, if you did it where you pitted the high majors against the mids or in the lows, it would be even more interesting because again, that's always the struggle.
That's the games you want.
Right. Those are the ones you're like, well, should they have gotten in over them? And this mid-major got hosed. They didn't get in, whatever it is. All right. What else do we want to talk about? First week of the season. Did we talk about that? How we get those games better? We did a little bit, right? We touched on that a little bit. It's rough. It's rough that first week. I mean, the first really good game, Baylor plays Auburn, I think on Tuesday or Wednesday night.
Yeah.
But the first night is atrocious. What's
the best game?
I'll read off some of these games. I mean, it's an embarrassment. It really is a complete embarrassment. And in so many teams, I'll count them up at some point. They're playing non-D1s. So like your alma mater actually is playing a decent mid, Samford. They're actually pretty good. And I don't know if you saw the video by Bucky McMillan and Samford. Did you see this?
I've not. No, what is
it? You got to see this. He does a little video where he says, we got hard or something. He's having fun with it. And he's got this kid next to him. And he's 5'7.5". And he said, basically, Zach Edey, be ready. This dude's going to jump against you to start that game. 5'7.5". I don't know if he's really going to do it, but it was pretty funny. Villanova plays American, Alabama, Morehead State, Arkansas,
Kentucky, New Mexico State, but New Mexico State is not what they're
picked last. I think they're picked last in their league. Kansas.
That would have been a good game 3 years ago.
The best game of the day is USC Kansas State.
Kansas State.
Right. That's Vegas, the best game of the day. And then Tuesday is
on TNT.
Yeah, USC Kansas State's supposed to be Bronny. It was supposed to be Bronny.
Oh,
that's why. So Tuesday, Auburn Baylor, only good game. The only other ranked team is Creighton, Texas, Florida A&M. Wednesday, the best game of the day is FAU at Loyola Chicago. You should go to that if you're in Chicago on the 8th, next Wednesday.
Yeah, I'll be working.
No, you won't. Baylor has a big one Thursday, a week from Thursday. Rob, you know who they play?
Who?
John Brown.
I think the game of the week for me is St. Mary's Stanislaus State. That to me on opening night just screams I have to watch on ESPN Plus.
No, the only big boy. I mean, I guess obviously Auburn Baylor is a really good game, but the biggest game of the week and the one you're looking forward to is Arizona at Duke on Friday night.
Yeah,
and Friday night's a good slate. Friday night's decent.
A&M Ohio State is good.
Tennessee Wisconsin's
good.
Right.
San Diego State BYU is okay.
So, something has to be done here. And Gavin and I have talked about this. And I think the coaches have to step up. I think they have to step up.
Yeah.
And again, like we talked about with the added maybe exhibition games, and I think the NCAA needs to change that rule. And if they do, maybe you can get some teams to enter in some sort of an agreement. I almost feel like you need to get about 16 teams to enter into like a 4-year agreement where they rotate home, away. And you know what they do? Here's the greatest way to do it. Here's what you do. You pull the matchups out of a hat. Pull them out of a hat. How cool would that be?
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Right?
I would be all for that.
You will have Robbie Hummel pull the matchups out of a hat.
Sweet.
Now, we won't trust you with, we'll have it like, the ping pong balls. Maybe like we got to have somebody there to make sure that you're not.
That I'm not,
fixing
manipulating matchups.
Yeah.
Do you think that it's hurt the men's game that really since I would say Zion Williamson, there has not been a superstar? Like I look at Caitlin Clark and the women's game, and it's probably at the best place it's ever been.
I want to watch her every game. I want to watch her.
How? Yeah. Is it the fact that G League Ignite and what's the other thing called Overtime Elite have taken some of these best players that would have been in college for a year? If the Thompson twins were in college, would they have been megastars?
I mean, no, because Brandon Miller was to me more electrifying than the Thompson twins because he could shoot.
No,
like the Thompson twins can jump.
They're
but
athletic
can't shoot.
As can be. Right.
They couldn't shoot, right? Like Scoot could jump, but he can't shoot.
Yeah.
So Brandon Miller was again exceptional, but he was at Alabama basketball. It's a little
or like
different.
look at Isaiah Collier. Like we talked about him a little bit last week, and he's the number one player in his class. And I don't feel like anybody really knows much about him.
They do not. They do not.
And he's out on the West Coast, so anyone on the East Coast is probably not going to stay up to watch that.
Right.
But I do feel like that's sort of an issue, which is hilarious to say, because with NIL, the players are as marketable as ever. But for some reason,
been a couple bad classes too. Like
we haven't had. I mean,
great.
you look at Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese and the personalities and the stars they have on that side. It's just, I don't know. The men's game has not maybe had that.
Well, they're going to have it next year when Cooper Flag gets to Duke. They're going to have it. They just haven't had that guy, that dude. But
that's like a Zion type recruit.
Yes,
that's what that's
he'll
like.
He'll come in with way more, to be honest. Because remember, Zion came in as like the 5th rated freshman. He wasn't great at the McDonald's game, the practices. I remember talking to scouts, and they were like, "Hey, he's okay. He doesn't play that hard."
Dunking the shit out of the ball all season long.
Yeah. All right, let's focus a little bit. We got to get your on the record picks before the season starts, because I know you. If we don't do it now, you'll try to tell me in February, well, I picked them to win it all or this or that. So we got to get you like on the record here. For first of all, let's go with our Final Four and national champ picks.
How are we doing this? Are we like going team by team, or am I just giving you all 4?
No, go team by team, and I'll tell you whether I agree, disagree, and then I'll give you one of mine. If it's the same, we'll move quickly.
Okay. I'll start with Duke.
Yeah.
I think their overall talent level across the board is phenomenal. They have dynamic guards. They've got a pro in Kyle Filipowski. Yeah. The fact that Ryan Young, who I saw at Northwestern, just comes off the bench, and I know he can score, is their backup center, is a compliment to their team. You have Mark Mitchell. You've got TJ Power. You have so many good players. And I think Tyrese Proctor is going to be an absolute problem this year. So I'll go with Duke as my first team. John Shire gets them to the Final Four.
1,000%. They are the most complete team in the country, and they have veterans. When Jeremy Roach is like your third best guard, you're in pretty good shape.
Well, and he's a guy that's played a ton of games, so for that. This next pick might be overreaction to an exhibition game.
Oh my goodness. What are you doing? Arkansas?
No. I am doing Tennessee. I'm going to go.
Okay.
I think they're going to guard their ass. Well, I don't think. I know they're going to guard their ass off. Yeah. What is Ziegler's status? Is he?
Yeah, I think he'll be back. I don't know.
Back.
Yeah.
You return Vescovy. You return Josiah Jordan-James. They lose Kamwa, so Tobe Awaka, I assume, will start. But the way Dalton Connect played, I'm all in. And I think Jordan Gainey gives them some offense
to watch,
too.
Wasn't he?
So I will go Tennessee, which that could be the one that's my wild card right there.
All right, I'll match your wild card. And it's not quite as crazy, I don't think. But maybe they're probably ranked about where Tennessee is in most people's preseason poll. But I'll match you with Villanova.
Super talented.
I just think they got a lot, man. They got a healthy Justin Moore. They're old, super old, right? Like Tyler Burton comes in as a 5th-year kid who, has been at Richmond for years. been a really good player. He'll be a good piece. Hakeem Hart comes in. He's been at Maryland for years. He's going to be a really good piece. Obviously, Dixon up front has been there. Like Dixon and Moore are their culture guys, right? They've been there for a while. Last year, they didn't have a point guard. Justin Moore.
They were tough to watch last year.
Yeah, Justin Moore can play the point, and the kid Andrews is going to play.
Armstrong.
I'm sorry, Mark Armstrong.
You're a real college basketball insider. You don't even know the players' names.
Armstrong's going to play. And they may play together some with Moore, or if Armstrong's not good enough, I think then you see Moore play more at the point. But they got a lot, man. They got a lot, and I know. Think about this. If I told you Jay Wright was coaching this team,
no, I mean they'd be a lot of people's picks to be a Final Four team.
Maybe to win it all.
Yep.
All right, go ahead. Who else you got?
This is a team that's flying under the radar, but when you look at their roster, I feel like shouldn't be. It's the Houston Cougars. Jamal Shedd is back to lead the group. LJ Cryer comes over from Baylor. Damian Dunn comes over from Temple. They still have Jawan Roberts, who is just an offensive rebounding machine.
Yep.
Javier Francis will start at center, I would assume. And he's a guy that blocks shots super long, can impact the game defensively. Terrence Arsenault, I think, has a great chance to make a jump and be a guy that's an absolute dude. And then Emmanuel Sharp was good as a freshman last year. So they've got some other talented freshmen coming in. Ramon Walker's still there. I think Kelvin Sampson's one of the best coaches in college basketball. So I'm surprised they're not getting more pub.
Me too.
They have a really good roster.
Yep. No, I would agree with you. I like them. I'm not.
And they'll be battle tested coming out of the Big 12. Sorry.
I'm going with the Big 10 team, and it is not your Purdue Boilermakers. I'm going Michigan State. I just think Izzo with this much continuity, returners, good veteran guards, good young guards like Fears. You're not relying on Hogard now. We've talked about this before. If he doesn't play well, if he's got his up and down nature, he doesn't play well, you put in Fears. You got Walker, who's really good now. Akins is going to take another, he's healthy now. They got enough bigs collectively. They'll be okay. And your boy Cooper looked pretty good, to be honest.
Defending the paint is going to be
Sissoko, Cooper, the freshman, like he might get a few minutes here and there. He's not ready.
Xavier Booker,
right? Booker's not ready. But
how long is Jackson Kohler out for?
I don't know how long. I got to find that out. I'm not sure. Yeah. But
my only thing is with Michigan State is that they went 11-9 in conference play last year. Not that it's most of the same team plus some. I mean, Cohen Carr has his bounce is insane.
Oh, it's insane.
His dunks are. Yes. I mean, he's done stuff that I've never seen. That's pretty
crazy.
Impressive. And then Jeremy Fears is.
That's what I'm saying. They're not the same team.
No, I guess it depends.
He's got a bench. He's got a bench where he doesn't have to ride with Hogard. If he doesn't.
No, that's true. If Hogard's doing stuff he doesn't like, he can just take him out. Yeah. All right. Yep. And I'm going to speak this. This is the Virginia plan. Purdue's making the Final Four. Virginia did it last time. Purdue's doing it this time.
You are such a homer.
Well, they're one of the best.
This is unbelievable. You're so scared of upsetting the hometown crowd.
I think this is a team of destiny.
so you're picking to win it all.
With a team of destiny.
You're not.
I'm not picking that. I'm not picking that.
Who you pick? I'll finish off, and then you can pick your national title champ.
Tennessee is my champ.
I'm going with St. Mary's as my.
They'll be tested on opening night.
They are going to be tested.
Randy Bennett again.
Way to step up, baby. Saint Stanislaus or something. That's what you told me.
Stanislaus State,
whatever.
That'll prep them for the Final Four.
Randy, what are we doing? I pick you the Final Four, and you play, Sisters of the Poor.
They play the worst game on opening night.
So bad. But I like him. Aiden Mahaney is a stud. He's going to take a jump. Dukas is healthy with his back. They've got veterans, a lot of older dudes, and Marcellonis, Augustus is good. Finally, like last year, I thought he was going to take the jump, and he didn't. He struggled. He's going to take it this year, and they're going to have like an elite backcourt to me. And then they've got the veteran Saxon up front is tough and veteran. And Randy Bennett's an unbelievable coach. So I got Duke, Michigan State, Villanova, St. Mary's. You got Duke, Tennessee, Houston, and Homer Harry picking Purdue.
That's right.
And who are you picking to win it all?
I'm going to go Duke. I'm going to go Duke to win it all.
Yeah, I think I am too.
Their overall talent across the board is
really good,
pretty high
really
level.
good. Shire's not going to like us for both picking him. Putting the target on his.
He'd like it better if we didn't pick him.
Probably. I think he probably would. But all right, last one for you. I asked you to do some homework here. Of this is not an easy one, I don't think. Obviously Zach Edey's back, defending National Player of the Year. He's going to put up numbers again. I don't know if his numbers are going to be quite as good. I really don't. I think they're going to be more balanced. Trey Coppin-Wren's going to score a little bit more. The two guards aren't going to wear down like they did last year. A lot of guys off the bench. I don't think Zach Edey's going to put up. Maybe I'm crazy. I think his production could go down a little bit. Who could challenge him? If I'm saying to you, who's the one guy? Who is the one player that dethrones Zach Edey for National Player of the Year? Who is it? Who is it?
I've tried to think. I don't know.
It's not easy.
I don't think there's a clear-cut answer to this. Like, I really don't. You look at the best teams, like it's Kyle Filipowski if he's healthy and just balls, but I think that the production,
his numbers are going to probably go down, right?
No, it's going to be spread out so thin.
Who's that dude?
Hunter Dickinson. I think he's going to see a lot of double teams.
Right.
I don't have an answer for you as of today. I tried, and I don't know. That's a cop out. Who would you even throw out there?
Boycott, maybe. I mean, he had a bad year last year, and he averaged 16 and 10, and he had a bad year.
I guess I just,
when
I think of him, though, I don't think of just like a bucket getter with his back. I mean, he's an effort guy, kills the offensive glass, rebounds the hell out of the ball. Yeah. I think it'll be Edey again. I just don't. Even if his numbers go down slightly, I don't think there's really anybody that's there to challenge that.
I mean, could Klingon put up similar numbers?
You think Klingon's going to average 22 and 13?
No, I don't.
Edey's going to average that.
Yeah, I think Boycott could average close to that. I do. No?
I don't know.
19 and 12?
Yeah, he could probably do that.
I mean, a couple of years ago, he did 13. Didn't he do 13 rebounds 2 years ago?
No, I mean, he'll rebound. I'm talking about the scoring.
Yeah, but he had 16 last year. They're going to run this year, and they got Cadeau. They don't have – think about it. They lost Caleb Love. So, like, all those shots are going to be available now. Well, those are a lot of shots.
All those rebounds are not. All those missed shots aren't. So I don't know. I thought long and hard about it, and I honestly could not come to one player that I was like, yeah, I think he could really challenge him.
I'm going to go Boycott just because I think, again, they're going to be so reliant on him. Where, like you said, Filipowski, I love Proctor. Like, I don't know if either of those guys average more than 16
it will get spread thin for Duke.
Right. You look at, like, Michigan State, nobody's going to put up huge numbers. Villanova, nobody's going to put, you're looking at the top teams. It's got to be somebody in the top 25. Who is it who's going to carry the load? Yeah. Right?
I don't know who it is. There's not a player out there that I can feel comfortable saying he will do that type of production, 22 and 13.
I'm kind of with you on that. I mean, again, I think Boycott's going to be the closest. Boycott and Dickinson are probably the two guys that have the best chance. But like you said, I just wonder.
I think it doubled a lot
with Hunter. I just wonder with Hunter if they're not making perimeter shots. Yeah. Man, it's going to be getting back to what we talked about at the start of this thing. Like,
could Tyler Kolek average like an insane number of assists?
All right, like 15 points and 10 assists.
Yes, that would challenge.
Right. He'd have to lead the country in assists, and Marquette be a top 5 team all year.
Yep.
That's pretty much what you're looking at.
Yeah. Kolek, Hunter, and Boycott's a decent. Yeah, he.
I mean, who else?
Good, I guess.
Like, who else? I mean, who else are we talking about? Like that. That's the thing you look at, and you're just like, who else could even do it from some of these? Nobody in Baylor is going to put up crazy numbers.
No. I'm. And
Max
you're going to get the National Player of the Year from a top at least 10 team. It's not like he's going to come from a top 30 team.
I honestly don't know who it's going to be. I think you're probably right. I think it's going to be a big, and you're probably looking at, Edey, Hunter, Boycott, and like Klingen as an outside shot.
Kalkbrenner's a great defensive player, but he's not going to average 22 points a game.
No, zero chance of that. I mean, really, with
He's a
them
great
bringing
player.
in,
He's a great player, but
great player. So, all right. Well, listen, we appreciate everybody jumping in, watching again. This is the last one before the regular season starts, and it is not
the last one ever.
No, you signed your contract. You signed your deal. It's a long-term deal, just so you know.
Locked in for 10 years.
Multi-year deal.
Contract.
Multi-year. What is your first, before we let you go, what's your first week look like next week? Your first week with your new employer. I mean, honestly, you better bring it. Like, no more of this going through the motions for you.
How did I go through the motions?
What do you got next week? Come on.
I'm at Purdue on Monday. See them play Samford. Next time I'm at Indiana. I see them play Florida Gulf Coast and Pat Chambers.
That's Tuesday?
Yep. Wednesday, I travel.
Okay.
Thursday, I'm at Michigan State. See them play Southern Indiana.
Yeah.
And Friday, I am at Ohio State to see them play Texas A&M. That'll be a game.
Ooh, that is a good one. You got a good one there. Finally, that's a good game. All right. Well, listen, don't work too hard. Whatever.
All while you sit on your ass at home.
Pace yourself. Okay. I'll be at the Duke Arizona game on Friday.
Oh, rough life.
And then I'll be at Purdue a week from Monday. I'll be where are you a week from Monday? 13th.
What, the
13th?
I'm off.
Oh, so you should definitely be at Xavier Purdue as a fan.
Just go watch.
Yes. How far is it? How far?
It's like 2 hours from Chicago.
What do you have the 14th?
I'm doing the studio in Chicago.
Oh, that's perfect. You will be at.
I do have something. I have something for you. I need to bring you something. Actually,
we're doing a show after the Xavier Purdue game.
I don't do shows for free in the season, so unless you're going to ante up, this is if Rob's going to cut the checkbook out, then I'll stay after. But I would be there as a fan and only a fan.
All right. Well, I think we cut the checkbook out for you. I think we might.
If that happens.
I don't know. You were pretty disparaging to Doster and his great ideas earlier.
His take was awful. I'm not saying we shouldn't play better games, but let's throw out the best games in exhibition we have. Come on, dude. No. Doster, I know you're going to edit this. That was trash. That was
I'm checking it. Listen, I got to go. I got to check in and make sure Katz is okay.